Welcome, everyone, to today's show. I'm JJ Flazanes, your empowerment strategist and producer. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Happy holidays, everyone who's listening to this in real time, getting close to the end of the year. And I wanted to share with you some things I've been learning and say, first and foremost, thank you for being on the journey with me, especially this year and last year. And why I say especially is because as I grow and expand and fine tune and focus, I do recognize that I keep elevating my own game, if you will. My frequency increases, my narrow cast, if you will, in terms of what I'm talking about, or the specificity I feel gets more and more clear. I think Maureen had mentioned that about me in the 600th episode of Fit to Love, that I was more grounded and focused energy versus sort of all over the place. So what that means, as I remember being a part of Mastin Kipp's community, and I don't know that I've ever explained this on a show, Mastin Kipp created the Daily Love years ago. And as I came out with Fit to Love, I had a few people say, oh, you should write for the Daily Love, because at the time he had a blog and he had contributors to the blog. So I had reached out to him several times through the website and didn't get anywhere. And then, of course, I manifested bumping into him at a Coffee Bean. So I introduced myself. He thought he recognized my name or something, which whatever. I don't think that was necessarily the case, but he told me who to email, and then I became part of the Daily Love blog. And I got to witness his community with him. And back then, as he was starting the Daily Love, he was couch surfing for maybe 2 or 3 years. So basically he was homeless and staying at other people's places for a long time. And I think he was single and looking for love. And so his frequency was a little bit more, let's say, sad, possibly depressed, possibly deep yearning, which we all have a yearning. We collectively connect because we have yearnings of some kind. And he built his Twitter up to about 500,000 people, I believe. And then he really started to take off and he became successful. And Louise Hay, when she was alive, showed up somewhere where he was either speaking or doing an event and asked him to publish a book through Hay House because he had such a huge following. And then Oprah had him and a couple other people on, I think, to boost the younger population to Super Soul Sunday when she first started, because I don't know if many of you know, but when OWN started her network, it flopped. They were just doing reruns of the Oprah show, and it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough new content, and they went through and cycled through all kinds of different shows and concepts. And so on Super Soul Sunday, she wanted to hit a younger population and invite them in. And so he was featured on Super Soul Sunday, like a up and coming someone to watch in that generation. So I got the opportunity to also go to a live in-person event that Mastin did. He also telecast it all over the world. He had hundreds of people who were virtual, and only, I don't know, maybe 50 of us, 30 of us that were there in person. And that was really an eye-opener for me. And the reason I'm telling you the story is because I'm painting the picture of where he started his business, and then how it grew and how he grew, and then how his audience changed. And at some point, as he got happier and more successful, and again, he didn't start out happy. From what I understand, it was I'm single and I am poor and I'm desperate for love. And then he found love and he became successful and he gathered a community. And so now he's in a different place. Now, whether it's sustainable, whether it's real, I've met him and, I'd say that just like everybody else, he's got shit he still needs to heal. So he's no different than anybody else, which was a great eye opener for me. But as I grow and expand, and I'm pretty fast. I'm a pretty fast learner. I recognize that not everyone's going to come with me. When I saw him start to really take off, I noticed that he had a lot of people who followed him were very angry. They would shame him for being successful. They would blame him and be victimized by his success as if he was leaving them out. And again, I wasn't really a reader. I didn't read all the stuff, so I don't know exactly what he was saying. But I did see the comments of people who were really upset at his growth. And so I always look at that picture as a story to say that if someone's on a growth path and other people aren't coming with you, then the gap gets wider. And when the gap gets wider, the people drop off or they turn from loving you to hating you. In fact, I'm pretty sure this happened to Dr. Nasha also. And where, as you're growing, expanding, and learning, not everybody's coming. And I know I'm a really fast learner and I'm interested in growing and I'm on a supercharge, not because I'm in a rush to hit any kind of endpoint, but because I can do it. And if I see the next level and I go, cool, I want that. And then I go, oh, well, what am I not that's preventing that? And how can I become that? Then I go, cool, let me go do that. Who can I get help from? What can I do for myself? So I recognize if you're still with me, or if you're just finding me now and you go back into the archives of my show, you're going to hear a different JJ. Not completely. I'm still who I am. I just got a little more confident. I got a little more, I don't know, I'm having stronger opinions that I'm sharing versus before where I was playing it safe. And I find that I'm still playing it safe a little bit, which is why I'm starting a brand new show. But as I digress, the name of today's episode is The Difference Between a Mentor and a Coach. And what has come to my understanding more recently as working with my coach, because everybody needs a coach, because you don't see your blind spots, because if you can see your blind spots, then they're not blind spots and they're just choices. If you don't know why you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, you need someone else to be able to reflect it back to you. So I want to read to you a description of the difference between a mentor and a coach. So professional coaching is a distinct service that focuses on an individual's future life as it relates to goal setting, outcome creation, and personal change management. The emphasis in a coaching relationship are on choice, action, accountability, and follow through. So coaching somebody is where, and I've done both. I've been a mentor and I've been a coach, and I've just really kind of realized that I want to do one more than the other. If you have ever worked with me in a one-on-one situation for, like, let's say the 2-session starter pack, you're coming to me and asking me for help with something. And I then can listen and guide and reflect back to you what you're believing, doing, not doing, and, trying to understand your point of view and then helping you along the way. The emphasis on coaching has always been that the person has all their answers. The person knows all the answers already. You're just helping them find the answers. And again, when it comes to coaching, again, on a short-term service, like if I'm doing a 2-session or a 5-session or a 10-session, I do start out coaching because I want to hear where you are, where you want to be, and where you want to go. And I had a lot of really great time with coach. I had a really good experience with coaching because I've had great coaches who I know that a lot of the time I come to the table. I had some great therapists too, well, one in particular. And because I come to the table with all my answers, I just can't see my block. So it's reflecting back to me or giving me the space or walking me down the path for me to see my own block, which definitely feels amazing. So a coach works sort of underneath, supporting underneath you, allowing you to go at your own pace. And that's important for a lot of you in different timeframes of your life, whether it be through a relationship, especially in relationships. I think that's definitely an area where people really could utilize coaching better than mentoring because you have to be ready when you're ready. So no one can tell you something that you're not ready to hear. You have to ultimately be the one driving that. So that's coaching. Now, mentoring, I'm going to read. Mentoring is guidance from one in the same profession or with similar expertise and experience and knowledge in a specific industry or career development or personal path. It's sometimes confused with coaching. Although coaches are often mentors to new coaches, they are typically mentors to those they coach. The difference lies in the fact that coaches ask questions and mentors advise. Coaches ask and listen, while mentors listen and provide professional guidance. Mentoring often provokes guidance and advice. So that became really clear for me that I'm really a mentor. And when it shows up in the masterminds, it shows up in my weekends, it shows up where someone has decided they want to go on a similar journey, let's say whether it be business or personal, something that I've already done. And when I started my very first, and it was free, mastermind, it was a law of attraction mastermind with a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of different things years and years and years and years ago. And there was a couple who had joined, and I probably have told the story before, but when they joined and we did a year together in this group, and I was ready to take it to the next level, more business focused. And they were definitely business focused. When I offered them to do like a whiteboarding session, which is now really what my VIP day is, or what we do in the mastermind, when I offered that we should do that as a group, because everyone was in a different profession, they didn't value everybody else's opinion. And for me, when I looked at what everybody was doing, if you're an entrepreneur or you're starting a business, it's the same setup a lot of the times. It's the same tools that everyone's going to use, whether you're in the exact same business or not. And you also have customers who have value in terms of how they see your brand or how they see your business. So they weren't interested. And I remember that's when I used my needs and feelings. And if you've ever done my Anatomy of Emotion course, or if you've been in my live events, I tell this story over and over again because it evoked, I'm going to say, frustration and sadness for me. And when the couple had decided they didn't want to do this, and so I'm thinking it's free. Why do you have to lose? What's the worst that can happen? I took it as a rejection. Now, rejection is an interpretation, not a feeling. And so I recognized that I was having an emotional response to this. So I analyzed with my feelings and needs list. Those of you that still don't have a feelings and needs list, please go get one. It's at jjflizanes.com/feelings list. So I get my feelings and needs list out. And at the time, my ex-husband was with me and he didn't like them. So he just wanted to blame them and be done with it. And I said, you know what? No one creates your emotion. It's not their fault. It's never anybody else's fault. You feel what you feel. So I had to dive into, what is this about? And when I looked at what I felt, which was, again, the judgment, the interpretation, which isn't a feeling, was rejected. When you break down rejected, I was really sad and frustrated. So, all right, so I'm sad and frustrated because my need for what? Well, I needed the needs and feelings list because I had no language for what my need was at that time until I realized that my need was for contribution. I had a need to contribute what I had learned starting my own business at 25 and literally bootstrapping it the entire way with no guidance and support. But I did have investors and I did have, all this stuff. And then I see other people going to start a business. They don't know anything about marketing. They don't know anything about anything. They're just a service provider, but they don't know what they don't know. And so to help people save time and money and frustration, I realized in that moment that, I have a deep need to contribute. All right, cool. Well, here's what's great about this situation. These two people don't want what I have, which makes it easier. And one of my past mentors would have a saying that it's like selling a lawnmower trying to sell a lawnmower to someone who doesn't have a lawn. These people don't want what I have. Cool. So why am I banging my head against the wall trying to get two people to be in agreement with what I want to do? Find the people who value what you do and want what you have and offer it to them. So I became super excited about starting a nonprofit, starting to teach business coaching, but this was way before I ever did any of this. So all this to say that when I look back at why I originally started coaching in the way that I started coaching, and especially as a trainer, trainer's about information. Being a personal trainer is about learning information and giving you information. It isn't necessarily about just listening and just reflecting back at you. It's about having tools that will help you, knowing how to build muscle, knowing how to protect your joints, knowing how to eat to reduce inflammation and for weight loss. This is information education, and then you pass on to your clients. All right, so fast forward now into business coaching. I've built a business. I've had multiple businesses, and I've done many things. And so when I see someone starting a business, again, you're still going to have to go through some of the same basic things every entrepreneur goes through. So I realized recently that I'm more a mentor than I am a coach, unless it's for a short-term thing. If you want help with A, B, and C, just getting over this one thing, do an astrological reading, doing, some kind of problem solving, cool. But if you're on a longer journey, I want to be a mentor and a coach, and I want to go between the two. But I want to be heavy on the mentorship because I respond to both. I know when I'm looking for information, I reach out to someone who can see it and tell me. So what's funny, what's coming next year, we have a lot of great content coming next year. So many good things. Dr. Davis is back on the show. Jill Bolte Taylor's back on the show. Dr. Z is back on the show. So much great content. We're talking about singing bowls. We have so much good stuff coming. And Joyce Dales is coming back on the show. So Joyce is the owner and creator of Cold B Gone. And now they've got a new product called Allergy B Gone. Anyway, at the end of our discussion, once we stopped recording, she and I were talking for probably another 30 minutes afterwards because we haven't caught up in a long time. And we were sharing information and I was telling her about a product. I've always wanted to do a product and I've dabbled in a few things. I've kind of followed the path and the inspiration, intuition down certain lanes, if you will. And I've gotten stopped, which to me says it's not the right time for this product. And I don't give up very easily. I assess if it's my own block, my own upper limit, or if it's just not the right timing because the universe keeps stopping me. And there's a difference. So I said to her, I know it's coming. I don't know what it is. And literally that woman told me what it was. And I said, oh my God, you're right. And since then, I mean, in a half a second, I came up with the name and the brand. I came up with who to talk to, all the contacts that I have, all the people that could support me in this. And it's definitely not happening right now, but it is ready to go. And not that she was mentoring me, but she did offer to help me when I was ready. Well, I'm not really ready, but I'm interested in knowing which direction I'm going in. And she literally handed it to me. And the same thing with Dr. Cherie. So when she and I had our coaching session the other day and I told her the situation, she advised me. She didn't ask me questions until I figured it out. She just told me. And I appreciate that. And that's what I want sometimes, because sometimes, yes, we need to figure it out on our own. And that's going to happen no matter if you're coaching or mentoring. If you aren't ready to hear the answer to your problem, it doesn't matter who's saying what to you. It's going to come when it's going to come. But there are times, like I said, in relationships and divorces and breakups and things like that, where coaching is going to be more appropriate because you can't force anybody to be ready to make that kind of big decision. Now, on the other side, when you're looking at business and sometimes health, which again, they're going to have their own trajectory in terms of your evolution and expansion also. But why not find somebody who's doing what you want to be doing, or find someone who's built a business that you want to emulate, or has a lifestyle that you want, or again, has a relationship you want? I mean, you can come into coaching and mentoring in relationship also. You can come to get tools. So I just wanted to say that I recognize now this difference between mentor and coaching. I am intense because if it's something I've already done, I want to help you not do it. Not that I'm supposed to learn the lessons for you, but I come on in a way of, yes, there's always going to be that aspect of you that has your own timing. But there's also going to be the time where you're tired of suffering and you need someone just to laser through and stop the crap. You're going to hear a case study next year with one of our listeners who came on with the Empowerment Strategists and kind of danced around and talked about surface things until at the end of it, I went full on mentor. Now, the girls did a great job and the coaches with the questioning, and they were coaching, and some were mentoring and giving advice. But I waited to the end because I could hear what was underneath all of it. And I just kind of lasered through and said, this is what this is really about. And all this other crap is just a block and a repression. Now, since that person that has had some success, has moved in the direction of what her true heart's desire is, feels better, and is getting the results that she wants that she originally thought were top level. But most people deal with top level things, money, weight loss, relationships, and don't go underneath the surface of your life purpose and your heart's desire. And to me, if you're not getting a combination of coaching and mentoring, you may never find it. Because someone else may just be reflecting back to you all that you can see. And remember, when it comes to law of attraction, you can only realize that at which you're at the same frequency with. So if I'm listening to you as a coach and I'm just reflecting back to you where you are, you have to be ready, willing, and able to step up a couple frequencies to get the solution. So let that sink in for a second. The other reason why I think I'm more of a mentor than a coach is because, and I think a lot of people listen to me because I do have high energy. I do have a high frequency and vibration. I do think anything is possible. I don't think anything is wrong or bad or unstoppable, so it's impossible to do. I find a way. And that flexibility and that empowerment, if you're someone who doesn't live there, probably feels good for you. You may listen to me to pump yourself up. But we have to figure out a way for you to get yourself up without me. And that may be some mentoring and that may be some coaching. But nonetheless, I want to be a mentor and I want to be a coach. But there is a difference. And moving forward, I will be asking people more specifically which they want and making sure to honor that, because I recognize that some people have resistance to being told what to do or told they should blah, blah, blah. And it's not even a should, it's just a suggestion. And it can only be from my perspective or those that I've worked with before. If you're in the market, and again, this, whether it be me or somebody else, just think about that. Ask yourself, because I've gone into therapy situations wanting a mentor and I didn't know it. I went in wanting someone to give me answers and help me do X, Y, Z. And all they would do is literally ask me questions about what I did, what happened yesterday in my marriage or what was the fight about today. And it would be so top level, surface level stuff. I'm like, I can do this on my own. I don't need that. What I need is what I can't see. What I need is a new perspective. What I need is information that I don't have. And that's a mentor, not a coach. So ask yourself moving forward, when you want to work with someone, do you want a mentor or a coach? And if you are interested in trying out either with me, I would say that definitely in the mastermind is where I and the Empowerment Strategist group not really yet, because that is more about teaching and giving the information. In the mastermind, though, that's definitely more mentoring with a little bit of coaching. And again, it's because if people are starting businesses or scaling and growing businesses or doing things, this is where I've done things, or I look at what I've done that you haven't done yet, or what I've had experience in that you don't have any experience in yet, so I can help guide you. And I might not have all the answers, but I can see a picture you might not, because I've done there and I've been there and I've done that. Again, it's the idea of not recreating the wheel. So when it comes to coaching, though, if you do a 2-pack, I can't mentor you because I don't know what you want. Just so FYI, I think you heard this last week if you listen real time, my prices go up January 1st. So if anyone is interested, and these are for new clients only, in doing a 2-session starter pack, and the prices will go up for the other coaching sessions also. So I guess if you're a current client and you want to buy sessions, I would check in with me about the pricing and the price changes. But the price for the 2-pack absolutely is going up by $200 January 1st. And that is at jjflizanes.com/workwithjj. Again, jjflizanes.com/workwithjj. And it can be on anything except business. The business aspect only happens in a VIP day or the mastermind. Because as a mentor and a coach, and being efficient with my time and my energy and my information, I want to invest into the people who invest in themselves in a bigger way for the business coaching. Because I have a pretty specific niche on that business coaching, and it's to keep you healthy and happy and aware and not doing business in place of dealing with your emotions, right? So that's a difference. There are plenty of business coaches out there, great business coaches that will help you make a lot of money. My question for you is, are they happy? Are they grounded? Are they healthy? And do they have good relationships? And that would be the question. And I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that I look around and see a lot of people who are talking about money, but at the expense of dealing with your feelings, dealing with the root cause of why you're chasing money because you think money is going to make you feel better. So that's my niche in that area with the business coaching. And it's only done at this point in time at a VIP day or in the mastermind. Otherwise, relationships, self-worth, confidence, communication, astrological understanding, compassion for yourself and others, getting through any kind of drama in your family, relationships with all parents and children and coworkers and situations like that, overcoming fears. And you can look on the page. There's a lot more tools and things that we deal with, but that would be what the 2-session starter pack or coaching with me or mentoring with me would entail. So again, jjflizanes.com/workwithjj. I just thought this was an interesting thing to share with you because, as I'm sure you know, as the years go on, I'm growing and I'm elevating. In fact, so much so that I have to start to visualize what's next for me and what do I want? And again, what does that look like and what does that feel like? Because I've been able to pretty much manifest everything that I've wanted and been working for. And I've been just milking it and living in this and appreciating it. I wake up every day loving my house and my relationship and my life. Okay, so now what's next? So that's what I've been working on. And if you're someone who recognizes you don't grow as fast and you're not interested, but you still get value, thank you for sticking around. And if you're someone that's been repeating the same patterns over and over again and you're ready to jump and not be stuck anymore, hopefully last week's show with Stephanie Dillon, when you ignore the call, puts a little fire under your butt to know that there is a price to pay for ignoring the call. And I promise it will come if it hasn't already. It's just the warning. It's just a fact. I don't wish ill on anyone. It's just what happens. When you know in your heart, when you know in your gut, you need to be doing something different and you ignore it long enough, shit will happen. So if you don't want that to happen, or if you're ready to feel brave, let me know, or go out and find a solution in another way. But I wish you the best otherwise, because that's why I do the show, to keep you ahead of the game, growing, loving life, expanding, and allowing in what you want to have in your life, because that allowing piece is a big one. And so many of us are still challenged. Me also, to a certain extent. I recognize it and I keep leaning into it. And I'd love to help you allow more if you're someone who cut yourself off. So happy holidays. Next week, Doug and I are going to come to you with an end of the year review show and some of the practices that we use. If you're looking for something mindful to do for New Year's, a little practice that we do, I think last year I offered you the pages that I do with Doug and with Michael. And again, I'll offer another version of that for the upgrade, for the new year next week. But have a wonderful, wonderful holiday if you're listening to this in real time. And I'll see you next week before the end of 2021.